So Unit 5 Activity 2 is looking at how scientists monitor natural hazards. So in the beginning here, it's going to take you through a few of the different jobs that exist where people are basically collecting data and stats and monitoring for hazards and natural disasters. Let's get some information on that. Here, I give you some questions in terms of what each of those are doing to see if you understand what you read in the previous section. Here's the crash course on how seismologists study earthquakes, the different tools that they use to measure that, and then how they calculate things. So how the time it takes for certain waves to arrive. They can then use that in different calculations to determine distances from the epicenter and things like that. So this is P waves and S waves, and there'll be some math involved in this section that you're going to have to do. And then using this, they can sort of determine how far away location was from the epicenter. So whatever the instrument that was measuring the waves itself, the distance it was. So in this case, they did some calculations, and it was 100.19 kilometers from the seismic station. So this is important because you're going to be doing some math a little later on to try to do one of the activities. And then to pinpoint it, so for example, the exact location, they have a variety of measuring stations. So in this case, 3 measuring stations. The distance that it was from the epicenter creates a radius. That's then made into a circle. And so you do the same thing for the 3 different stations, and where they all come together and touch, that's where you should be locating the epicenter. So here it goes through, and it's just, again, some of the math behind how you figure out and calculate it, and you're going to have to actually complete one of these and submit that right here for the magnitude scale. The little tweet that you have to generate here about some of your newfound knowledge related to this subject. Again, if you don't have a Twitter account, just use the fake tweet generator. And then you've got different things with the setting up and managing the warning systems. This just sort of shows the whole process in terms of how that would work. This video here, you can watch it, and there's an article here about it as well that you can go through and that you can read. And again, the idea of knowing exactly where an earthquake occurs is one of the challenges, and that was sort of using those 3 circles. So you're going to sort of use this data and information here about an earthquake that occurred, and this was the information that arrived at these 3 measuring stations. And then using that 3 circle idea, you'll try to figure out exactly where the earthquake occurred. Now, it leaves some instructions here for locating the epicenter on the map. Unfortunately, you're going to get about as far as this location here, and then it's going to not work for you. So it doesn't seem to work when you highlight over top of it to then be able to enter in the circles. So what you're going to do is you're going to use the measuring tool as it shows right here. So it's a measuring tool that you can use right here. So once you've calculated sort of the radius or the distance it is from the center, you can use the scale right here to sort of determine how long things are going to be, and you can then measure sort of off the distance and sort of create yourself a circle by spinning around it and try to keep the area in memory. And so do the same thing for all 3 of these locations. And again, wherever the 3 of them sort of meet, that's the general idea of where that earthquake will be. Now, because the circles won't show up, I'm not going to hold it to the exact spot. But if you're in the general area for wherever the earthquake occurred, I'll be happy with that. And so when you've done that, keep following these instructions sort of right down through. It shows you how to put that symbol on the map. And then it also, I think, asks you to take a screenshot of here at some point, saving the map, and then repeating all this again for these different locations. So these instructions right down here, unfortunately, aren't working. If you can get it to work, please let me know. I was struggling with that. Keep that information, because down here in the next section, what you're going to do is complete the second section of the template you're just working on and fill in the rest of the example here. Here's an example of a press release that was created for the Fort McMurray fire. You're creating a press release to go with this earthquake right here, and that work then gets submitted to that Dropbox. The final consolidation piece is some hazard research. So now that you understand sort of expert methods, you're going to apply them to a natural hazard of your choice, except for earthquakes, because it's already been done. And you're going to talk about that hazard, how it's studied via data collection or organizing and classifying or monitoring, and then setting up and managing warning systems. Okay, so you'll pick one of these hazards right here, and you'll talk about how scientists basically do those steps right there. So there is a research organizer that you can use. So you'll click on that, complete the research organizer with the information that's required, and then submit your work to this Dropbox.